So before we start today's episode, let me give you some fun facts, right? The residential property market of South Africa is valued at around 6.789 trillion rand. The commercial property market of South Africa is valued at around 780 billion South African rand. The undeveloped land market, property market in South Africa is valued at around 520 billion rand. Publicly owned property, meaning property belongs to the government or in any shape or form, is valued at around 570 billion. South African property market space is one of the most highly valued space, but one of the most expensive market to enter. And a lot of people struggle to enter it. So today, guys, we'll be talking about how can you, as an ordinary South African, play a part in the property market space by investing into property either through the two ways I'm talking about, but the main factor is using the stock market and only having 100 rand to invest into property. So guys, not wasting any time, let's jump right straight into today's episode of the Student Investor Podcast with myself, Ivan Sambo. Hello everyone, welcome to the Student Investor Podcast with myself, Ivan Sambo. Today we are talking about two ways in which you can enter the property market space using the Johannesburg Stock Market and only just having 100 rand. This is a conversation that's important because in the beginning, the intro, I gave you the figures, the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. They're talking about how the property space in South Africa is so good. It's so high value. And a lot of us, ordinary South African, are being left out because the entry fee to enter the property space is very high. To buy even a house in the township, you need thousands and thousands of rand. Imagine talking about buying a mall. Imagine talking about buying a house in Umhlanga Rocks, in Elawini, in Camps Bay, whatever the place it is very high. So let's talk about alternative ways that are out there that anyone can enter the property market space and have a conversation because they have money invested into it. And there are two ways in which you can actually do that. And the first one is known as REITs. Guys, REITs are real estate investment trusts. And by the way, guys, I have all my notes written down on my tablet. So I keep on looking down. I am referring to my notes. I'm talking to those who are watching on YouTube. But if you're listening, you don't even know I have a tablet and reading to it. So when we talk about REITs are a form of investment that you can do in the JSE with as little as 10 rand, 100 rand, and you can invest into property. REITs in full stand for Real Estate Investment Trust, guys. So a REIT is basically a company that owns, operates, and finance only properties throughout South Africa, and that company is listed in the JSE. So what do I mean about that? So what happened with the REITs, guys? So a company focuses or either is developing, manage, or finances property in South Africa. It can be whatever company it is. It gets itself listed in the JSE. And when it gets listed in the JSE, this company does not do anything besides focusing on property. And 75% of their taxable income is paid back to you as a retail investor or you as investors. And these companies are listed in the JSE. We're talking about Vukile, the Spares, properties, there are a lot. Just go to Google and type JSE listed REITs. You will find the list of them. And these companies, their main focus is only to be property. A lot of them are into property development, building apartments. Some of them are into storages, building property for storages. Some of them are into warehouses, which is also part of storages. Some of them are into developing or managing malls. Some of them manages malls, manages office spaces, manages a lot of other properties out there. And by mandate of the Johannesburg Stock Market, these companies have to pay 75% of their taxable income as back to you as investors as dividends. And these companies are cheap to invest into, because if you use easy equity, you use Brostock, you use whatever broker you use, you can invest into this company with as little as 10 rand, 100 rand, or whatever amount of money you have, and you become a shareholder of that company. What it does, because you don't actually own the property, you own a company that is focused on the property industry, because it manages, develop, or finance the property space. So you as an individual indirectly are in the property space, and you earn the benefits of the growing property market of South Africa. I hope that makes sense. So that's the first way in which you can enter the property space in South Africa through the JSE, is through a REIT. The second way is through an ETF. I know, guys, I talk a lot about ETF, but they're one of the manners in which you, as Sipho, Vusi, Ivan, Jonathan, whoever you are, can enter the property market. So how do you enter the property market? Through an ETF. Let's start by talking about what exactly is an ETF. So an ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. Basically, it's a basket of different companies grouped together and listed in the JSE. So when you buy that basket, you get all the companies that are in it. That's one way to define an ETF. The second way is that an ETF can be an index, or it can be a tracker. What do I mean by a tracker? So there will be an index that exists out there. Let's just say the South African top property company index, right? And an ETF will be created to copy that property index, right? So whatever price the property index grows in, your value of your ETF grows at the same value, or just a copy and paste of that index, but in an ETF form. An ETF, you can invest into them, whether you're using Brostock, you're using Shift, you're using we're using what do you call this, easy equity, you're using Satrix Now app, you're using Thick Market. You can use any of those brokers and even more other brokers, or even FNB Share, Zero, Standard Bank, Investor Tracker, Trader, something like that. You can use any of those and get exposed. Use that word correctly, exposed into the property market. So how do you use an ETF to invest into the property market? This is what you do. You go to your broker, whether it's the Easy Equity, Brostock, Satrix Now app, whatever broker you use. You go to them, you look for an ETF that is in a property space. There are a lot of them. Some of them track property market of South Africa. Some of them track companies that focusing on property. It tracks them and put them as a bucket in one. Some of them track international property indexes, whether it's the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Europe, Asia, whatever. Some of them track the global property market. Some even track African property market. There's a lot of ETF out there. If I start naming them, I will not finish. What you need to do for yourself, go to Google, say Johannesburg Stock Market Property ETF. They will show up, all of them there. You pick the one that you like, that fits you, because it will give you exposure not only into the property market of South Africa, number one. Number two, it can give you a level of diversification to invest into a property market of other countries, whether in Africa, Europe, Asia, North America, South America, Australia. Is there any continents are left? Yeah. Whatever continent it is, it gives you exposure to all of that, and you can be able to invest. So guys, that's how you invest in the property space in South Africa. I hope this video was helpful, or this episode was helpful and gave you a mind into how you can actually invest into property. Until next time, guys, be safe and always happy investing.